So my mom died today, 10 years ago. And do you know that I still think about her and talk about her every single day? Every day. So on the 10th anniversary of her death, I got a text from someone who said, "Hey, I lost my mom today." And I tell you, I don't know if I can tell you, but like, because it was, I guess because it's the anniversary of her death, everything came flashing back. Like, oh my gosh, I got so emotional so quickly. All the memories of how I felt when I first found out she died, it just came flooding back. Um, so come to find out, I read that text wrong. She didn't lose her mom in death, but in another way. But that triggered all of this. That triggered what I'm doing tonight. And I'm not even sure I'm going to post this video, but it's kind of just, I kind of wanted to share my thoughts about her, to her, and to you as well, and hope that it blesses your life. Those of you that still have a mom, I hope that it encourages you to honor your mom, well, your parents, mom and dad, in a more greater way. And those of you who have lost your parents, I can say I'm there with you. You might never really heal from it, but you just move forward. Just move forward. So, her name was Annie J. Rolle. Most people called her AJ, or Auntie Annie, like the pretzel, or Mommy, right? Like, half of the community just call her Auntie Annie, and really, she wasn't everybody's auntie. I used to be jealous of that. But she was born Annie J. Rolle, and she was born in Rollville, Exuma. And she was married to Cleveland Rolle. So she was born a Rolle and she died a Rolle, right? In Rollville. And I wore my shirt in honor of her. If you can see, the Rollville Association. That's our family reunion, summer regatta. And then, of course, I'm a crew member. I hope you saw that. But anyways, on her anniversary, I decided to wear my shirt. But I always wear my shirt. I always wear my island shirts, Bahamian through and through. But there's so many fond memories. I don't even know where to start. What I wanted to share with my mom. She's looking down from heaven. The Bible says there's a cloud of witness that look down. And then the Bible says that the dead in Christ shall rise first. So I don't know much about that. I don't know what I think about that. Either way, I know my mom was just an amazing woman, and I have so many fond memories of her, right? How are we alike? I'm asking myself this question. And we were just, I don't know, a lot different. But she's a lefty, I'm a lefty. In that way, she loved to dance and party, and so do I. We love fun. We kind of, the life of the party. That's about it, right? How we're like, oh, how could I say that? Forgive me. If dead people can hear me, no, we don't hold our punches. We are just straightforward and blunt and sometimes brutal with the truth. My mom is just always, she was not confrontational like me at all. But if you got in her face, she was maybe semi-confrontational, if that's a word. But she will speak her truth. She will. And she will. She will let you know. I'm just thinking about stuff right now that how she would get in people's faces. One example was, oh, this woman was incredible. So when they flew to Miami and they got in a cab, she knew Miami very well as if she lived there because she traveled there a lot. So they got in a cab one time from the airport, going to their regular hotel. You know, you got your place where you want to stay. And this cab driver thought that he can take advantage of my mom and her older sisters. They're in their 70s at this time. So my mom is looking at the street signs and all this stuff, and she told the guy, pull over now. The guy's, what's wrong? Pull over. You're not taking us the right way. You're trying to take our money. Blah, blah, blah. You think we don't know where we're going? We know where we're going. And she proceeded to tell the cab driver the exact route that he's supposed to take from Miami International Airport to the hotel. Because she knew the route. But my God, you know what I'm saying? It's Miami. There are probably 20 different ways to get there. She's like that, though. She was like that. She would just tell you, and she didn't say, well, take us this way. She's like, pull over now. We're getting out and we're not paying you. So she was, yeah, that's how we're like. So we're both left-handed dancers, life of the party kind of a person. And yeah, we tend to speak our truth. What we think is our truth. She was, my mom, I have the best memory. She was, in my opinion, the best cook in the world. In fact, maybe that's what I missed about her. One of the things I missed about her the most is her cooking. She was the best cook. These are my favorite things about her. She was the best cook. She was the most supportive person in the world. And I'm not being biased about that. That is the truth. That is really the truth. My mom supported people in her family, in her community, in a way that I don't even understand how one little woman could do that. She was a great dancer. She would dance with her hand. She had this left hand thing and she'd go down to the ground. Even when she was older, she would go down to the ground. I'm sitting in a chair now, but I wish I could show you how she would dance with her hand. And she would do this left hand jig, go down to the ground. She'd come right back up like a teenager. It's like, that's my mama. She could dance, boy. She danced she died a deacon. She was a deacon in the church, but in her day, she cut some rug, y'all. Even in my day, obviously I don't remember. I didn't know her when she was young. I wasn't born, and when I was born, I just don't remember much. There's so many family members and so many things going on. I don't remember much, and I wasn't a mama's girl. I wasn't somebody who hang out at home a lot. I was the community person. I was I don't know. I loved my home. Don't get me wrong, but I was hardly ever home. I just loved to play. I loved to swim in the Atlantic Ocean. They told me I used to like run away from home so I wouldn't have to do work. And it's not called running away from home. It's like after school, you would run, take your school book, and take off your uniforms. We wore uniforms in school, and you just rush and take that off, and then I would dash out of the house. Or I would eat. I would go to my grandmother's house. I would eat, and bam, I'll be gone. Right? And I got in trouble a lot for it. I didn't care. So that's what they told me. So I don't have those memories. That's why I have the memories of her cooking, because she always cooked. I'll tell you something that I think is now funny and stupid. When I was younger, I didn't think my mom took a bath or my mom ever bathed. We didn't have showers, so everybody took baths back then. Well, halfway through my life, we did get a shower. My dad built this really cool outside shower that's still there. But she never smelled. She just never smelled, ever had a body odor. But in my little mind, I didn't think she took a bath, right? Because I never saw her take a bath. We all took a bath, and I would see different people, even my dad. But I never saw my mom took a bath until I was like way grown. Why? I'll tell you why. I finally figured it out. She was a praying woman. She was a family woman, and she had her act together. She was so organized and so structured as a stay-at-home mom. So the reason I never saw her took a bath until I was older is because she was up at 4, she was up with the sun, up with the chicken. My grandmother, her mom, taught them to be productive, to be up early before the kids were up, to take care of themselves before the kids were up. And my mom birthed 7 of us. I have 9 siblings, but my mom birthed 7 of us. So this woman would get up early to make us breakfast and to prepare for my dad, all of that. So by the time we got up, 7:38 to go to school, she was already, she took a shower, she did her devotions, and she had food on the table for 8 people. And by the time we came back from school, she was done with her daily chores, and that's it. And I remember, well, I did see her do Sunday morning baths, and that's it. That's the only memory I have of that. And it wasn't until I was older and married and she would come to my house, and some mornings when I would wake up early, I would hear her in the shower. I'm like, wow. And then I put 2 and 2 together and like, duh. So, I know, that's a little dumb little thing, but it's what I remember about her. So, Mom, I want to say thank you for being a delightful mom. Thank you for supporting me 100% in any dumb thing I would come and tell her. She spanked my butt a lot. I probably got the most spanking out of all the kids. I probably got enough for everybody. I used to wonder if she was, when I was younger, I used to wonder if she was a good mom or if I was a good child, because I got spanking for everybody. And then everybody told me when I was older, like, Paula, do you realize how stubborn you were? How disgusting you were? And this woman had a bunch of other kids to take care of, so she didn't have time to deal with my stubbornness and my mouthiness. I was mouthy, still am, and my questions. I had so many questions. And of course, I know now part of that is the fact that I am a leader, and I'm one of those born leaders. Didn't even accept that mantle until later on in life. But everywhere I went, I was kind of promoted to leadership. Even unwanting, I don't know, even say undeserving sometimes, but I wouldn't ask for it, wouldn't be seeking it, but almost everywhere I go, I would be promoted to leadership. Randomly, even at a community event. I'm like, what? So I don't know. So my mom, she raised a leader. I wouldn't say she knew how to raise a leader, because I had so many questions. I would defy some things that she did, the family members did, or the community did, even the church. I was probably the only person in my family that wasn't baptized at the coming of age, because I just told them straight up, I'm not a Christian. I didn't know where that came from. I was just say 25 Hail Mary, call it. I was just this dumb little child, but I tell you what, I spoke my truth and I stood by my truth. I wasn't a Christian. And did I believe in God? I think I did, but I didn't want the Christianity I saw growing up. That's what it was. I finally realized that almost everybody who were Christians were poor, and they complained. Some of them were nice, but some of them did things that I just thought, well, you say this, right? Like the preachers and the pastors growing up of my church, which was the Baptist church, they both had bars, and wives were, well, I shouldn't say that. It's not, but anyways, the example of the lives I saw, they're all dead. It's just nothing I wanted for me. So why would I want to be a Christian? Because you can say anything you want. And then, later on in life, I saw examples of Christianity, and I decided to go that route. And you can't take that away from me now, But she, in honor of my mother, she was such an amazing woman, supportive woman. The only thing I could ever say that I have, like, regrets. I do have one major regret that was life-changing for me. I know when I graduated, my mom didn't come to my high school graduation. I held that against her for a while because she was doing whatever she was doing. At the time, I didn't care what she was doing, and it wasn't important to me because I just knew I was graduating high school, you know what I mean? So anyhow, we're having a drink as I talk to you. So I held that against her for a while. And then I got over that because you got to get over stuff. And that's the only thing ever I remember holding against my mother. And my one regret, which I don't know if I've said this to anybody publicly other than Joseph, I regret not having a child for her because she loved children. And she used to ask me, Paul, when are you going to have a child? And I remember when I was younger, I was engaged to somebody else. I was espoused to somebody else. And I got pregnant, yes. I was shacking up. I was engaged to be married to this said person. And I got pregnant, right? And I wasn't sure I wanted to tell my mother. I wasn't sure. And I remembered my boyfriend, like the minute I told him, I said, man, I think I'm pregnant. I said, we got to take a test, whatever. So we did a home test. The dude didn't even wait for me to go to the doctor. Sorry, that's a notification on my phone. He called my mother. So like I had no chance to do anything, say anything, to even be sad or happy or be depressed about it. He called my mom. How about my mom was on the phone? She was on the plane. Like, why you here? Oh, he told me you're having a baby. I said, oh, Lord. So that's how supportive she was. She was. And then I lost that child, and she was there for me. She was there like, we did not live in the same, on the same island. But if I coughed and she knew, she was there. And it got to the point, because I was her one child that was not at home. My brother had gone to the U.S. for college, and promised to come back. But I was away from home, left at 16 and a half. Because again, independent and just trying to find myself and find the world. So I left home at 16 and a half, had my own apartment. Then I got my boyfriend, and I was grown. I was just doing my thing. But if I coughed, somebody told my mom I'm hurting, she was always on the plane, always next to me. And these are the memories I have of her, really. She was there when I lost that baby. She was there the whole time. That was the first time I ever went in the hospital, ever. I was just in and out, but she was there. And then in the U.S., when I had to have a minor surgery, my mom came and she camped out with us for the entire month. And that was selective surgery. And I told my mom, I said, my friend, they've got it. I mean, I got some friends, and I had an incredible husband at the time, who's now my best friend, ex-husband, but super duper guy, best friend. I'm like, they got it. They'll take care of me. Nothing major. That's my baby. And she was there. She was in Tampa, in her favorite house, the bungalow, we called it, in Hyde Park. So, Mom, yeah, I missed that. I miss you coming over. My absolute favorite thing that I didn't mention so far was the fact that she loves to travel, and I do too. So she would come over. I would send a couple $100 to get the tickets. She would come over, and she would spend the entire fall with me, with us. So I think that's my favorite thing. But that was the end part of her life. So she would come, and she would come right before Thanksgiving, right around. I know she'll be here for Thanksgiving, and we would ride to Georgia to my sister's, and then we would come back, and then we would do Christmas somewhere in the mountains, and that was my introduction to snow and cabin life, and I fell in love with it to the point that we actually purchased a cabin, and we kind of did this backpacking where we put all of our stuff in storage after Joe had retired, and we just went around, like just around America doing stuff. It's me and Joe and the dogs and the rabbits, right? And my mom was a part of that, because she was the one who would, she was the one that kind of encouraged me to do it after we would go see my sister. She'd say, Paul, have you ever been? Oh, I've never seen snow. And I'm like, oh, Mom, yeah, we should. And we would go. You know, I had my own business, so I had flexibility. Joe was such a great caretaker, so we would just take off. She's like, Paul, I saw this on TV, Paul. And by the way, she's the only one that ever was allowed to call me a nickname, which was Paul. And she said, Paul, have you seen this on TV? Paul, I heard this. And we would just take off. We would just, normally it would be a road trip. And I love her. I love her for that. Her spiritual life and adventure. So Mom, wherever you are, I don't mean heaven or hell, but I mean whether you're still in the ground and you would rise with the resurrection, or whether you are in heaven as a great cloud of witness. I'm not a theologian, so I'm not going to sit and say I know for sure where she's at. I just know she is with Jesus, though, because she accepted him as her Lord and Savior, and she will be with him, or she is with him. So in her honor, I said, Mom, I love you. Thank you for raising me. I know I was a challenging child, but I don't apologize for being a challenging child, because it's who God made me. I'm still a challenging adult. But you did an amazing job with your children. And I miss you so dearly. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I miss the flesh part of you. Though I talk to about you and kind of talk to you sometimes, it's not the same. So for those of you out there, I tell you, feel free to share this video. I want you to, because do it for my mom, for AJ, Auntie Annie, like the pretzel. If you're out there and you, I don't know why I'm fiddling paper like I'm nervous. I really get nervous. I don't share deeply like this to public people. But if you have your mom with you, I tell you what, take advantage of that. Love on her, call her, go be with her. If you and your mom live in separate, states, cities, countries, whatever, try your best to see her or see your parents. And if you have lost your parent, either one, I can say, some people say the pain gets dull. It hasn't for me. I smile a lot. I'm a happy person. I don't fake it. I am happy. But I tell you, at least once a day, I get this real stabbing pain right here as I think about her. Think about her, just leaving us so quickly. I spoke to her at about 3 o'clock the day she died. And she was fussing at me. She always did, because I forgot to do things she wanted me to do. And at 6 o'clock, I found out that she had died suddenly. And though I smile a lot and I joke around a lot and I push through life, nothing stops me. Nothing stops me. It doesn't mean I don't miss my mom and my dad. And it doesn't mean that the feeling of being an orphan as an adult does not affect me. In fact, sometimes I think I've slowed down a bit because of that. I slowed down. I used to be such a go-getter. Just do so much in the world. And when my mom passed, I didn't realize it. But when my mom passed, she was such a great supportive system. She was such a bouncing board for me. I didn't realize that I kind of slowed down a bit. Things happen sometimes. I can always bounce things off of her. She told me that she called every one of her children every day. I don't know that she told me in the morning, like waking them up and stuff. But she called me every weekend. And I'm not, if you know me, I'm not the type of person to get on the phone. You call me, I'll probably text you back. I don't like talking on telephones. In person, I'll talk your ear off to the point that you'll run away. But on the phone, I don't. She would call me to check up on me. And I would never really call her back. It's just not that I didn't love her. I don't know, I rarely call her back. But when she got me, we would stay on the phone, just talk about stuff, about life. She was worried about me. I knew that. She was worried about me because I moved away at such a young age. But in the end, she was proud of me. She told me She even flew over with my book when I wrote my first book. That woman actually flew to America for the release of my book. She was so supportive. Mom, I thank you for that. I have not found, there will be no replacement. There will be no replacement. I wonder sometimes, like, when I get married again, I marry somebody else with a mother. My biggest fear is that I don't even want them to treat me like a daughter, because I don't want that. I don't know. I just don't want anybody to kind of sort of be close to the space in my heart that I have for you. Not a mother-in-law, not, I don't know, anything. It's your space, and it's only your space. I don't want another mother. I don't want another mother-in-law. I don't want another spiritual mother. I can't have you back, and I will live with that. I will live with that. Anyways, thank you all for listening to me. Please share this video. And in the comments below, if I do share this, if you know AJ or Auntie Annie, please write. Just write something that you remembered about her. If you don't, just share something about your mother. Okay? Anyways, it's kind of late. I should go to bed. I was contemplating this video like all day. And I'm really doing it for my mother. But in this season of my life, I feel that I want to share more of my life, right? I don't know why. Taking my position in life and taking my place, a different place in the world. I think I'm on a different step. But anyways, thank you. Mother dearie, mommy, we call her. I do love you. I do love you. I don't talk to the dead. That's crazy. But I do tell her that sometimes, like she can hear me. Anyways, thank you for listening to me.